He does. Tomato, tomato. Hello, everybody. Welcome to
Language class.
today's session of Pathfinding Adventure, where the German word of the day is Geschenkabo, which is the word for gift sub. Going forward, we'll have a word from one of our languages uh, at the start of every campaign, because that seems like a good idea. So, we're just going to let Harowina find some batteries for her mouse, which died as soon as our Steam streamer Tolmar hit the go live button, because that is the sort of timing we have today. Give me a moment. Also, Tiny Dog has raided our entire store of flatbread and eaten it in the couch. So, again, that is the sort of day we're going to be having today. But thank you everybody for joining. As usual, we are a bit late on starting up because that it's an RPG group, and that's just how life is. We won't be wasting any more time. We will go straight to the recap of last session, starting with Estrella.
Oh, okay. We started the session still in the castle that where we freed some prisoners. We went down to the cellar that we had still to explore and found even more prisoners, as well as a nasty hydra. Estrella tried to sneak to the cages where the prisoners were held and free them without alerting the hydra, which went really well until her lockpicks broke. And it was, thank you, Preacher, for this demonstration, because it was like the typical scene you see in slow motion, flowing, falling into the well, waking the hydra. So yeah, she almost got eaten, but luckily was saved by her party members, and we freed the rest of the prisoners. Then raiding the armory and arming everyone who was able to somehow fight, before we decided to take them to a nearby village, nearby being 3 days. So we set out there, and when we opened camp in a camp spot that is often used by travelers, we met a traveler. Magnus, go on.
Yes, Magnus was on his way to the Black Abbey and happened upon the campsite and greeted Preacher in his inimitable fashion and found himself invited to rest overnight. Spoke about with Estrella and Preacher and a few of the other party members, and decided escorting the villagers back to their home was a noble cause that he would gladly divert from his purpose for. So we joined the party, and let's see other things that happened. Yeah, we said goodbye to Leo. He left a will behind, which Marisol found and read out. And he also had a letter left behind for her. He asked Edmir to take care of Cherek, for Cherek having died along with Leo. He asked him to be put in a pyre. So rather than drag another body through various adventures before trying to raise it again, we decided to burn Leo along with Cherek and have a giant pyre for him. And we will hand off to Marisol.
Yeah, so after we saved even more people and said goodbye to Leo, uh, Marisol stepped up and took charge of the group and got us out of there. We saw a burrowing thing that was kind of scary during the night and met this new friend of ours. At least we believe he's a friend. And I'll hand it to Yodi.
All right, never mind. Sorry about that. Yeah, we did a nice send off for old Leopold. We had the funeral pyre and there was some singing and it was a very somber moment. It was one of my favorites in the entire campaign at this point. We killed the Hydra. We rolled on. We were looking at some death snakes or something of that nature that were like sleeping around the corner, and everybody was like, this seems fine." And then Shaggy was like, "We should end the session because we don't have time for a fight." And then I'll pass it to Quinn.
Yeah, pretty much everything has been covered. One thing that wasn't mentioned is Edamir did like mend the sacred tree that was growing through the castle, which healed everybody. Which probably gave Estrella enough hit points not to get downed next to the Hydra and eaten like a tasty snack. And yeah, that was it. Lots of hags in the area. Mador.
Yeah, you covered most of everything. Right now, we're the camp is slowly getting up to continue our journey further, but we are all keeping an eye on where this thing buried under. Hopefully, nothing will come up. The new Mador hasn't introduced himself yet to Magnus, so we'll get to that later. Otherwise, can't think of much more to add. Preacher.
Well, the only thing I want to add about the cellar thing is that Estrella showed excellent stealth skills, superb, except for the unfatal, unlucky happenstance with the key that kind of flew into them well. But I was trying to intercept myself. Preacher was going for it, and the Hydra decided, "You're not food. You're not interesting." That may have been one of the finest moments in my career as a hero. It's like, I'm gonna save my friend. No, I am not food, so I will ignore you. Damn it. We did send off our poor friend Leo. It was a touching moment. At that particular time, Preacher was kind of stunned a little bit, so he took the opportunity during downtime, during the 2 weeks that passed, to have a little bit of offline RP. And while he was standing watch, looking at the burrowed snake or monster, whatever it is that is out there in the snowfields, he did sing a little bit of a song. And Estrella wanted to learn that, so we had a bit of a nice moment there. In remembrance of Leo. I'm not going to repeat it now. So, yeah, let's go forth. I think that was everybody.
I believe it was. Sadly, Edamir has other real life concerns today and can't join us. But he will be with us as soon as he can. You were still traveling towards the city of Valence, I believe. Last time we left off, and you were wondering what to do with the Behir issue. So we will pick up there. Yeah.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye on it and make sure that if something happens and it moves, we are ready. Uh, Make people walk past it silently and try to pack up and leave as soon as we can.
So did we not sleep overnight? Is this before we've gone to bed?
Yeah, you've had a long rest, but not everybody healed up from it. Some of you were significantly injured and still have injuries.
Got it.
You can see over on one little or bigger snow pile that several Arctic foxes have gathered kind of in a semicircle and seem to be chattering on with Edamir about something. Yeah. He looks at the group and gives a sign that he's got to go and do some druid shit before running off with the foxes.
Well, let's still keep an eye on that hill and pack up camp as soon as possible, people.
Certainly. Let's hope our fox doesn't get eaten.
Well,
No,
none of us have any chance to follow him anyway when he's running around there like that. I can't see him anymore. So let's leave him to it.
he can take care of himself.
He can.
All right. Help the poor people that are injured back into the wagons and settle them down properly.
Yeah, you've triaged all of the critical injuries right now, and you're pretty certain that as long as you can keep people warm and give a larger amount of rations to the injured that need the nutrition, you should be able to get everybody down from this mountain alive.
In that case, Magnus will say, I've done what I can to treat people, but some of them need long rest. And, I've done what I can anyway.
Thank you, Magnus.
Oh, you're welcome, lassie.
Well, Mador would do his normal morning routine while I was packing up.
Yep. You see a lot of the refugees are looking actually sort of comforted by seeing Mador's obvious martial prowess as he stands there kind of taking down individual snowflakes at range with his polearm and doing his morning training.
I'm gonna switch out with Preacher to keep a look on the hill so that he can help load the carts. He's stronger than me.
Yeah, Doirach, the dwarf, walks up to Yodi. Like, I think we're ready to leave, sir.
Well, today is the day that I'm scooping elixirs of life out of the cauldron. So Yodi looks at him, he's like, Yodi does not know why you come to me.
Well, you're a wizard. I mean, these must be your creations. And he points towards Preacher and Mador.
Yodi does not create. Yodi destroys. Go speak to Marisol.
Very well, sir. And he turns to another dwarf and like, come on, Grumbly. And they walk down to towards Marisol. Comes up on her and like, Ma'am, I think we're ready to leave.
Brilliant. I want eyes on that hill at all times. So I'll pick out someone to be the rear guard and make sure that this stays a hill until we're past.
Very well, ma'am. Mador has something to say, I see.
Yeah. Marisol, I'll take Red Guide.
We'll need more than one person if that thing moves.
Aye, you can count me. I'll do it.
I'll take midpoint since I can move myself fast.
All right. Doirak looks at Marisol and, well, I've got a couple other lads who've gotten crossbows and short bows. Will stick around the caravan and try to keep people safe.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Well, I guess I'll be in the middle with Preacher. I think we work well together.
He turns at a couple of other dwarves and like, all right, Grumbly, Cranky, come with me.
I'm gonna divvy out my potions once I'm done scooping. One for Preacher, one for Zara, and one for Mador. And Yodi just kind of shuffles along and he's like, let us try not to need this, but if you do, use it.
I
Portions
assume
of life.
you,
It's a minor elixir of life, yep.
Marisol nods to Yodi. I assume you will keep Billy safe and lead the train.
If that is what is needed, Yodi will do this.
I'm gonna help him up in the saddle.
Aye. Well, the caravan starts moving down from the mountain without too much issue. I would like a perception roll from the rear guard, the mid guard, and whoever is in front. Well, ain't you just a bunch of people that are on top of shit? Um, the bear is obviously following, still at a distance of about 900 feet. And you can see it tunneling for a while. Follows you for several hours, trying to throw you off. You can sometimes see like just the top of the head with the eyes pop up, and more or less instantly gets eye contact with Magnus or Estrella or Marisol, wherever it tries to pop up. And, after a couple of hours, you start reaching the tree line, and the snow is no longer as deep. Not having found any opportunity for ambushing you, the bear here seems to be leaving up the mountain again.
That's a relief.
Yeah, but we shouldn't let down our guard.
No. But I think that particular threat is done.
Well, if you want to look at it this way, if that one is leaving, what's in here?
Or it's because that one belongs in the mountains and these are woods.
Could be. Hopefully.
I'll keep my fingers crossed.
There's several fir trees around the area now that you're coming down into it. Large as well. Sort of trees you could use for shipbuilding. Going up towards maybe 90 feet in height at the tallest. With thick trunks. And large enough that a lot of the ground here is not covered in snow at all. Trees having taken the brunt of the snow on their branches. The ground is soft. The fir needles make walking almost comfortable compared to the hard, slippery rock and ice you've been walking on so far. Most of the refugees seem to be breathing in deep and trying to relax as you lead them down off of the worst cliffs of the mountain.
I'm gonna walk along the column and see that everybody seems okay and see if there's anyone that we haven't noticed needing help.
All right, give us a medicine check.
Oh no, not like medicine. I have no idea about medicine. I'm just looking for someone who looks more tired or stumbling or something. I have no idea how to spot someone being injured.
You can do a head count at least and see everybody's still with you. They all seem tired. You don't really have the expertise to see who needs help more than anybody else.
Estrella would help a little bit, and she's really comfortable with the children, so she's walking from child to child, checking up on them, fooling around a little bit with them to lighten the mood for them, because it must be hard.
Okay, very nice. Estrella doing important work. Throw us a give us a little performance to see if you can lighten the mood.
I don't have that one skill, so could I do a society as well?
They're not really interested in the finer points of
Alright,
taxation
okay,
and
well,
the fine
in that case,
events.
how about acrobatics? I'm showing up.
You can do that. Give us an acrobatics roll.
Wow.
Holy crap! As Estrella is doing tons of acrobatics, jumping in between trees, almost getting to the top of them, while juggling and singing. Everybody's morale seems to be boosted. One of the dwarves with a crossbow kind of drumming on the side of a wagon and singing as well. Doirak the dwarf looks at Marisol and, oh yeah, that's O'Nibley. He always wanted to be a bard.
Ah, that's cool.
He also told me before that there was a possibility that there are witches in these woods. There have been sightings with several of the mining convoys traveling up and down of lightly clad.
Thank you for letting us know. I'm gonna spread the word that there has been sightings of witches amongst the party.
Yeah, Estrella jumping around finds herself at the top of a very tall fir tree. Tied to the top of it, there's a pouch, rather nicely made, like the sort of smaller size messenger bag you could attach to a belt and have hanging on your hip.
I don't think this is supposed to be here. I definitely check it.
Right. Are you gonna be looking inside it?
Yeah.
Okay. Give us a disable device or
That would
it's
be
a thievery
thievery, I
roll
guess.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be an 18.
Yeah. Opening it, Estrella deftly dodges the little puff of air that probably was supposed to throw something out. Although this bag looks old, very old. It's got a faded crest on it, probably of a noble house or a knight, but so faded now from sun and water exposure that she can only see that it's been there. Inside, there's a note that says Ludwig Schwarzhelm's special rations. Do not steal. And as she looks into it, it seems to be more roomy on the inside.
I'm going to climb down, ignoring the last 25 feet of height to just dropping down next to Marisol.
You hear like from the caravan, and then clapping and cheering as Estrella rolls without taking any sort of injury and pops up in a perfect acrobat's pose.
Impressive.
Thank you. Found something interesting on top there.
Oh,
Holding the bag to her. No idea how it ended up there.
no. That's very interesting. Um, Come on, let's go ask Eodi if he knows what this is.
Well, it seems roomier on the inside, so I have a
Yeah.
guess.
So do I, but you never know.
Yeah, I'm not sure we should eat the rations so that we're supposed to be in there, but well, we do have a name attached to this, so
this is really funny. Um, Master Eodi?
He seems preoccupied with pulling elixirs out of his walking cauldron.
Sorry, what? We got a phone call. I'm back. What are we doing?
We found this, or rather, Estrella did, and it seems bigger on the inside, so we wanted to ask you if you could take a look at it.
It appears to be a bag. Yodi looks at it and he's like, are you sure this is a bag?
well, pretty sure. Oh no, I don't know how it ended up on top of a tree.
Yodi does not know as well. I do not know. I am very busy. Very busy. I do not know why everyone wants to ask me questions.
It's only because you are the wisest and smartest of us all.
That is true. But I also have no clue how this bag got onto the tree. And he kind of scratches his head a little bit.
Well,
Thanks
do
anyway.
you want it? She still holds it out to Marisol.
I'll take it and try to find out what it is later. Thank you.
No problem. I have no need of it.
Yeah, just gonna tie it to my belt and hopefully find Eodi in a better mood later.
Loud, loud.
But yeah, I think the kids are cheered up enough. I'll stay on the ground now. Unless you think I can find more on top of the trees.
Well, it seems a bit much to just, climb up and down all the time. But if you want to, there has been sightings of witches, they say. I don't really know what witches are, but they sound scary.
Yeah, well, certainly. But I'm not sure if I can be of much help up on a tree against a witch.
No, just keep a lookout, like everybody.
Sure.
Right, yeah, the caravan were singing along with Seamus O'Nibley's singing and seem in much better spirits now. Hungry, cold, injured, and freed from captivity with the hags they may be, but they haven't lost their spirits, and Estrella's hijinks, Mador's obvious martial prowess, and what seems to be the solid leadership of Marisol seem to have reignited their trust that everything is going to be fine. Takes you another 6 hours until you're down by a road. Seems well traveled.
Well, this road should make it quicker and easier to travel.
Yeah, Doirak comes up to Marisol and like, well, Wallon should only be maybe 6 to 8 hours in that direction there, but I don't know if it's a canny thing to be traveling during the night.
Not with these people. Uh, look for a campsite.
Oh, I know this area like the back of my hand. It's well, maybe half a kilometer down the road there would be a good place. There's a fireplace and some lean-tos that are usually kept pretty well, you know, maintained. Well, if we're lucky, there'll even be firewood.
That's amazing. Then we'll stop there for the night, I think. Spread the words to everybody so that they know that we'll soon rest.
Another rest. Hmm. Maybe we
Well,
should. Yeah, maybe we should try the rations in this bag. Could we would maybe need them.
we'll look at them when we set up. I have no idea what's in this, and I'm getting tired as well. So the moment we can sit down, I'll look at it.
I could just try it and
If they're poisonous, I'd rather have you unpoisoned. So we can wait for half a kilometer more, can't we?
it's still an option.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Right. If I could kindly have some perception rolls from the party again. So you're traveling up. It's much easier going for you all right now. Marisol, Preacher, and Yodi, however, are noticing that there's somebody out in the woods, staying far enough out that even with Preacher's ability to see, as if it would see in the dark and see heat and heat trails, they're staying at the extreme edge of where he can make anything out. To you, it looks like humanoid shapes, about the size of a human, but moving with the lightness in the forest, and also you can see some bows, crossbows, and spears at the very least. Yes, Yodi.
Dude, it's my time. I've been waiting. I use the draconic scent. What do I smell in the 30-foot radius around us? Who is in the forest?
Yodi goes like, and yeah, you can smell at least two humans and a halfling and an elf within 30 feet of you that aren't part of your caravan.
I'm gonna tug on Marisol's sleeve a little bit.
Yes, Master Yeti.
Yes, we know we are being followed, but by who? Yodi smells many interesting humans out there.
Well, let's go say hi to them.
I think that this is the way. We refuse to move. We tell them to come to us.
I'm gonna gather the party so that we are between the caravan and whatever's in the forest.
As you start moving away after talking to Yodi, a small bush turns out to not really be a bush, but a camoed up halfling lady wearing what looks to be like twigs and leaves and looks like mud, things like that. It takes you a moment to see she's a halfling. Walks out
I've
onto the road in
already
front of you.
pulled out my pistol. Who are you?
Fear not, my friends. We are not. We're not your enemies. I am Fiona von Bratkartoffeln.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I am Marisol Barlow.
Please, don't be worried about my scouts. We're just on a regular patrol along the roads here. And she takes out a medallion with the gray and silver knight of the House of Nassans, with the orange and purple background or border on it. We're from the second scout group.
Well, we have found all these people in Castle, whatever it was called, so that Marisol probably remembers, but I don't. So we're leading them back to town.
Well, please follow me then. We have a small camp up by the roadside.
Oh, thank you. We're all tired.
He grins up at you and like, "Why? You don't sound like you're a golden glenner. Well, like me, are you also a mercenary?"
We are the Night Thorns,
The what now?
mercenaries.
Ah, yes, you're mercenaries. Okay, well, I taken there are a couple of mercenaries in the second scout regiment. Myself, I traveled up from Friedrichstadt because the wine here is better and there's less pork in the food.
Well, we are from a bit all over the place, actually.
Yeah. Well, so you walk up. You can hear the clatter of somebody working on armor, weapons being sharpened, food being cooked.
Oh, that smells divine.
Walking upon the camp, you can see there's 11 horses, large, powerful horses. Squires attending to them. A handful of men at arms in light plate armor, not the full plate of a knight that Magnus is wearing, but yeah, what most infantry find to be, well, the useful type of plate for them to wear. Standing around with silver tipped spears, large rectangular shields. And
Well,
sitting around the campfire are 11 men and women dressed in very fine, personally customized for each of them. It looks like with heraldry and inscriptions and that sort of thing on the plate armor. Laughing and drinking wine and eating from a huge boar carcass that's been grilled over the fire.
I guess this will be safer than last night. I just hope we can make enough room for everyone.
We'll just have to start cleaning up, making out room. But yeah, safer and way more food.
Shogi, I take a look at the current campsite and see if we need to clear additional space. In that case, I got breaking ground.
It doesn't look like, but you could make it a bit more comfortable for the men at arms and the scouts who are sleeping on the outskirts of the camp area. The camp area itself is fairly large, maybe size of a football field. And from the tracks, obviously used by a lot of caravans. So it might be won't even be tight for you guys.
Well, then let's get this camp going and I'll walk over to the halfling and thank her for the hospitality.
Aye, you must meet our squadron leader. Please follow me. She walks over towards the knights.
I follow, pretending like I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah. One of them, a man in his 40s, early 40s probably, with he seems fairly pale, except for the part of the face that wouldn't be covered by a helmet with the visor up. Rises and gives a small bow to Marisol. See, the plate armor he's wearing has obviously seen a lot of use, and he does have the heraldry of Nosans on half of a small shield fastened to his shoulder, and on the other, there's a other half. There's a blue background with a copper silver gate on it.
Sir?
Ah, Mademoiselle, I see you come bringing injured.
Yes, these are refugees. We saved them from Castle
Montfort.
Montfort.
He bows his head and does the sign of Yautl as you say that. Oh, Montfort, an evil place from what I hear. Out of the way
Absolutely.
from the roads, not in the purview of my squadron, sadly, or we would have gone and cleansed it long ago. I believe you've done us a great service. Please tell me what transpired up at the castle. How do you have so many refugees?
We were sent by the Black Abbey to take a look at the castle and find out what was going on there. And we found it taken by ogres and hags and other scum, and they were eating the villagers. So we stormed the castle and saved, well, everyone we could find is still alive, and took them from there.
He looks at the dwarves behind you. This is true. They all nod in assent. Yeah. Please, please excuse my lack of civility. I am Roland Gramont, House Gramont, in service to the city of Vallon. You've done us a great service, killing these hags and rescuing the villagers. I assume. Were you at the caravan of One-Eyed Philippe? He looks at the dwarves and they're like, no, but some other guys back here were. I assume that one of the reasons we're out here patrolling right now is caravans and small settlements next to the road have gone missing. It seems you have solved at least one of our problems. And he, without him having to turn and nod, you can see that two of the knights are out actually using. One of them is using a wand to heal up the worst of the injured. Another one carrying a medallion with the gold fist of Yautl on a black background is walking around healing through prayer. Please, he looks at Magnus as he comes riding into view in the darkness. Oh, I see you traveling in the company of an anointed knight.
He found us last night. Has been helping us sending the most wounded, but he is on, and he has done an amazing job. I don't think everybody would have lasted a night if he hadn't come.
Well, please Sir Errant, we would be honored if you would join us by our fire. As for the rest of you, I will make certain that Etienne and Jean-Baptiste take care of the worst of the injuries. Our men-at-arms and scouts will keep you safe. You can sleep soundly tonight without worries, for a knight of Valor will be your shield.
Thank you, sir.
It's very kind of you, sir. Thank you very much.
Quick as that, you can see scouts and squires mostly starting to light up more campfires and next to lean-tos and other places where people can sleep. Two other knights actually mount horses and sit at one corner of the field each diagonally so that they can see each other and the entirety of the field from their points of view. They seem to be wearing except for Roland, they're wearing a lighter sort of plate armor. You can see it sitting on the horses. It would afford them greater protection from any infantry attacking them, but on the ground probably less than a traditional suit of plate armor would do.
I'm gonna go walk over and find myself a nice fire to sit by after brushing down Billy.
I'm gonna get the next batch of potions going.
All right. Yeah, Yodi's kind of doing the cauldron thing. I see a lot of people are, or at least a handful of people are kind of following with interest, looking. One of them even kind of nodding sagely and talking to the others. Other than that, most people were exhausted. They're being fed, iron travel rations for scouting and pieces of boar supplementing it, getting wine and water, and they're falling asleep fairly quickly. You've had yourselves a long day, and you can feel that sleep would definitely be welcome right about now.
I'm gonna sit down and look at my pouch and try to catch Sarah's eye and see if she might tell me anything about this.
Zara is like filing her horns with like a rasp.
Sarah?
Yes.
Estrella found this, and it's bigger on the inside, and I don't know nothing about magic. Would you take a look at it?
Certainly could.
I'm holding it out to you.
Oh wow. Yeah, this is it's a specialized type of bag of holding, usually known as an endless pouch of rations. In this case, a high quality one. Looking at the craftsmanship and the sigil, Zara's fairly certain that it's not from this region at all. Probably from the area of Kurun, and roughly 327 years old from the type of stitching and leather used. Must have belonged to somebody with a lot of money. Looking, she finds the phrase stitched into it, almost invisible, unless you give it a cursory glance. Gland, yeah. Oh yes, your glands. A proper glance. A cursory glance would not see it, but stitched into it are the words: Speak, friend, und essen.
I will relay that to Marisol.
Also,
Does Koronese have a special word for friend?
Buddy?
you know that Corin shares a lot of language roots with Friedrichstadt. Also, looking at it, the pouch has been obviously been worn as somebody's been hit by both fire, acid, lightning, which has barely even discolored the leather. So whoever had this made must have been both powerful and rich. This would cost hundreds of gold coins currently to have made.
Does anybody know Friedrichstadt?
Wasn't the halfling from there?
Yeah, she was. Excuse me?
Yes. What can I do for you, my friend?
What's the name in Friedrichstadtian for friend?
It's Freund.
I'm gonna look into my bag and say, Freund.
You can instantly smell something delicious in the bag.
I'm gonna pull it out.
Seems like a pork knuckle prepared with some sort of fermented cabbage and boiled potatoes with a smattering of dill on them, and a nice sauce.
Oh, wow.
In addition to a flagon, the first of its kind you've seen, that actually has a lid on it that you have to kind of lift up with your thumb, filled with a cold and delicious beer.
Nice.
And here, and here I thought this was a normal bag of holding.
It is not. It's a bag of endless rations. Excuse me, people. There seems to have been an accident with Tiny Dog. I need to handle that.
Oh dear. On that note, we might as well take ourselves a short rest. We'll take 10, and we will be back at 7:40 p.m.
up diddling ding dong day. Ooh, do up diddling ding dong day. Ooh, do up diddling ding dong day. 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 Do up diddling ding dong
There we are. Okay. The camp seems to be falling asleep. Most of you are very tired as well. So from anybody who wants to stay up after midnight, I'm gonna need a DC 10 Fortitude from you.
I'm asleep.
I'm gonna take my 2 hours of rest and then I'm be up.
Yeah. So yeah, you can hear a deep snoring from Magnus, like the beating of war drums almost, or the sounding of a trumpet to charge. He's definitely well asleep. And after your 2 hours of rest, you see Mador standing up, standing guard, and tough as he is starting to look like he might need at least a little nap. It's about 3 in the morning. Peter comes out of his resting time.
I walk over and stand next to Mother. I don't say anything. I just make it apparent that, hey, I'm here.
Hey, preacher, how you doing?
Evening, my lord. Well, it seems that we got people safe here, at least. I'm doing okay. Yourself?
Kind of looking up at the stars.
They're still there.
Oh, yes. There's that constellation there. There's another constellation over there. There's a shooting star over there.
Do they still wish upon those?
Always wish on always wish on a shooting star.
That hasn't changed.
If you're up, I will go crawl into my bedroll and catch a few Z's before I get up for my morning ritual.
Yep. No worries. I'll keep a look. Pretty sure make sure to keep half an eye on the other camp as well. They might be knights, but I don't know them.
Well, tonight's you can see they're not tents up so much as it's just like a pavilion with a roof but no walls, and a brazier sat in the middle of it, filled with glowing coals. Other than that, the knights are actually sleeping on bedrolls on the ground, higher quality, and probably a thicker blanket to sleep on, but not that different from the rest of the men at arms around you.
Oh well, I'll stand guard.
Yeah. Give us a perception roll, please. Oh, all is quiet on the Western Front. That's it's not more than maybe 2.5 hours after Preacher goes on watch. It's light enough to see for a human as well, and the camp is starting to bustle into activity. See, squires are readying armor, making black bean brew for the knights, getting breakfast on, and the men at arms and the scouts seem to be doing the same thing.
I make sure we have a black bean brew brewing as well for our intrepid leaderess.
Yeah, you can see it. The four dwarves you've been talking to, grumbly, cranky Duirak and O'Nibley are already up, talking to Fiona over by the scout camp.
When I have a chance, I wish to approach Durak and see if we can shed some light on the question here.
Yeah. Doesn't take long. They seem to just be sitting and chatting, making black bean brew and smoking pipes.
Well, I walk over then and excuse my intrusion.
Ah, yes, Preacher. You've never excused your intrusion to me, my friend. You saved me from captivity. What can I do for you?
Well, it was a remark in passing you made a day ago about a dwarvish make. I indicate the runes on my person. What made you say that? Is there anything particular you recognize?
Not so much recognize from a specific place as the way you're constructed. Your body, not your soul, mind, but look at the digits on your hands here. And he takes up one of Preacher's hands and yeah, there's no frills, no filigree or engraved lace or anything that that a human or an elf might do. These are they're beautifully crafted in themselves, functional, aesthetically pleasing, but without having to add any bells and whistles, if you will.
Would a dwarf craftsman leave a work such as this, indicating myself, unsigned, or would it be some kind of sigil somewhere?
Well, I assume there'd be a sigil somewhere, but I mean, don't take this the wrong way, but I've seen you move and I've seen you fight. I assume you were crafted for war. So if he did, he'd probably leave it somewhere. That would be very, very difficult to find and look at, unless you knew where it would be. Like, so that the enemy wouldn't be able to necessarily identify. Because if I don't know much about this, but I'm guessing, from what I understand, there's more of your kind than the last 2 years. Kind of reawakening, I guess, or coming back to awareness than any one craftsman could make.
That is true.
So I'm guessing you'd all have little quirks and strengths and weaknesses that from any individual craftsman. So if you were made to be an army or elite bodyguards or assassins or I don't know, cheesemakers or whatever, then the individual craftsman would want to hide their sigils so that an enemy who knew maybe the weakness of the creations of one craftsman wouldn't necessarily be able to use it against them without getting close enough that you could, punch him.
Do you know if there is a dwarven craftsman in Wallens that might be able to examine me more thoroughly?
Oh, there are several dwarven craftsmen in Wallons. There's a small part of Wallons down by the dock, which is mostly dwarves. Same with elves, gnomes, humans. Wallons being it's not a port city, but the lake is large enough that there are some fairly large size ships on it.
I would appreciate if you could take the time when we arrive to introduce me to some of these valuable people and for the people, and see if I can get some aid in understanding where I was, and who I was made from.
Well, there's one little issue with that. Me and the lads, we're gonna sign on with Fiona here to. We're gonna sign up with Fiona here to. I don't know. We need after our after our little captivity here, we've decided that maybe running security for mining convoys, while safe and boring, might not be the best thing to be doing. Not the safest thing to be doing. The way I don't know. To me, it feels like there's a fell wind. There's a fell wind going. However, I would advise you to contact my cousin, Emily Flatbreaker.
Emily Flatbreaker.
Indeed.
That will.
She's not a craftsman and artisan as such, but she knows a lot about them. She's a commander on one of the trade ships known as the Golden Monkey.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time, and Fisher bows, and if there's nothing commented, walking back to Dales and helping prep the departure.
all the four dwarves kind of bow in front of Priest Shaman. Oh, thank you for our freedom and giving us the possibility of finding a life for ourselves.
On the way back, I actually walk over to Marisol, and if she's not awake yet, I will wait there.
Yeah, takes about 5 minutes of Preacher standing next to Marisol and looking at her before she kind of opens her eyes and looks straight into Preacher's face.
Ah! Oh, sorry.
Are you awake enough for conversation?
Yeah.
Well, the dwarves are parting ways from us, and they were kind of the ones that promised us to be recompensed, so you might want to speak with them before we split apart.
Right. I'll go talk to them.
There's also Black Bean Brew over there.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna start with the black bean brew and then walk over to the dwarves.
They're the ones with the Black Bean Brew.
Ah, brilliant. Then I go over and just hold out my cup so they can fill black bean brew in it.
Good morning, Miss Barlow.
Morning. I hear you are parting ways with us.
Oh yeah, we've been discussing with young Fiona here. Yeah, the scouts they have room for a couple more of us, and figures well we're gonna live for a long time yet. That bout of captivity didn't really give us a taste for it, if you understand what I mean. So we're gonna take up with her and maybe spend a couple of decades as mercenaries to build up the skills so we can make certain nothing like that ever happens again.
I understand. Who do we talk to when we get to the city about the refugees?
When you get to the city, I'm pretty certain you'll attract the attention of the local police force fairly quickly, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't think I am. So you may very well find yourselves on the side of a bit of interrogation first, but we've written letters for you.
Oh, thank you.
I believe the local bailiff will probably wish to talk to you, and she's a fair-minded lass. Also, go to a ship known as the Golden Monkey, and talk to my cousin, Emily Flatbreaker. She'll recompense you for me and my family and cousins in particular. I've written a couple of letters, and he hands Marisol 3 letters. One for the bailiff, one for my cousin, and well, should you meet any nobles or the Comtessa of the city, this will be a sworn affidavit that you rescued us from captivity and slew several hags.
Thank you. This is exactly what we need. I wish you all the best, Master Dwarf.
Well, it'll be time for us to be leaving, I believe. But it's been an honor meeting you. Thank you for your hospitality. He looks over at the one you know, it's Cranky, who's sitting next to Fiona. And, cousin, could you go get Salty and the others? I promised her 7 strong sword arms, and what will deliver? Fiona just grins at him.
Yeah.
She, as Marisol turns to leave, she goes, "Oh, Miss Barlow, here. For you've been traveling in winter for a while. It's warmer down here. I imagine you haven't had fresh fruit for a while." Hands Marisol a fresh red apple before she leaves.
An apple. Thanks.
Walking back, you can see Preacher's gotten the black bean brew on, and the rest of your party seem to be have gotten up and started to get their breakfasts. Except for Eodi, who seems to be mumbling something and stirring his walking pot, kind of walking in a circle around the campfire, the way he does when he's thinking about something and needs to walk while working.
A coin for your hoard, my friend. And I flip him a gold coin.
Oh yes, Iodi loves the coins. Is that an apple?
Yeah. She gave it to me.
Oh, it looks delicious, very red.
Absolutely. I haven't seen apples like this since I left home.
Are you going to eat it?
What else do you do with apples? Or do you want it?
Oh, I think Iodi would like a taste, yes.
We can share it.
Do we cut it in half or do we shoot it?
I think we'll cut it. It's easier. I bring forth the knife and split it down the middle.
Yes, delicious. And I will definitely take a bite.
So will I.
It is tart, crunchy, and a welcome respite from the winter rations you've been eating for a while.
Fresh fruit in winter. This is amazing.
Do not forget that these dwarfs owe us money. I do not like it that they are not staying around.
I have the name of a cousin and a few letters of recompense here, and I know exactly where they'll be if they have swindled us, because they're leaving with the rangers.
Yes,
And
if they were not dwarfs, perhaps I would be more upset, but we need to make sure our business does not continue this way.
Absolutely, and we all know dwarves can mostly be trusted.
Yes. I will be ready to march when you are ready, Marisol.
That's brilliant, and I think the rest of the camp is waking up. More coffee, Master Yodi?
No, I believe I have had enough. There is something in this pot. There is something I will make that would be glorious. I just can't quite figure it out yet. And he drops the core of the apple into the cauldron.
Yeah, you can hear cheering from some of the scouts and the men at arms over towards the forest edge, where several of them have been training, but many are now kind of gathered in a loose circle around Mador, watching him train with his various weapons and well, appreciative of his obvious skills with them. Roland has somehow managed to come to your circle and standing behind Magnus. And, looks at Magnus and says, "Your man at arms. He would make a fine knight, I believe, if he were born of noble blood."
I wouldn't know, Sir Roland. I've only just met him. As a matter of fact, I've not introduced myself to him. I believe I'll go do so. I've yet to do my training myself this morning, if you'll excuse me.
Very well, Sir Magnus. We're about to leave. Best of travels to you.
And to you, Sir Roland. May you find what you seek, and good luck in your hunt, sir.
Well, it seems you've slain the hags we were looking for, but our patrol must go on. Keep to keep the common citizens safe. It is the duty of a knight.
Aye, 'tis the way of things. Sorry, sir, you were going to say?
The best of luck to you, sir. If you should meet the Contessa, please tell her the story of how you slew these hags and rescued her citizens. I'm certain you'll be amply rewarded.
Aye, well, 'twas these fine people that did it. I had little to do with it, except assisting in their escort, but I'll pass it on. Magnus makes his way over to where Mador is practicing and takes out a long spear with 3 prongs, one of the middle one much longer than the other, and begins limbering through a routine. Good day, sir. You haven't been introduced. I'm Magnus. That's a fine quiz-arm you've got there, and a particularly nice glaive. You use them well.
I thank thee. It's all I've been trained with most of my time.
Aye, well, I've used a few pole arms myself in my time. It's nice to see someone that knows what they're doing with them.
Yeah, sometimes.
Ain't that the way? Sometimes you manage to get things, and other times it's as if the air itself deflects it.
What brings you here?
I was on my way to the Black Abbey, and I came across your campsite the other night. Your man preacher invited me into the camp. I hope my snoring didn't keep you awake.
Didn't hear a thing.
Stute, man. In any case, when Preacher and Marisol told me that you were escorting these people back home after rescuing them from peril, I had to lend my assistance, you know. It seemed more urgent than whatever I'm to learn at the Abbey, I'm not sure.
My destination was the Black Abbey from Ravencrest.
You seeking to become a knight?
Aye, but the long way, since I am not of I'm not too sure if I'm noble blood, but yes, the long way.
Between you and me, I'm no noble blood either, my friend. Common as muck, me.
You're more noble than me, good sir.
Ah, my goddess. Well, I was in a dark place when she spoke to me and told me to snap out of it. Gave me something to go on for. That and helping people, you know.
I understand. To grow up in an orphanage, so
Aye, no. 'Tis a terrible thing, but well, you seem to have good people about you. I grew up in a small village myself. Never knew much else apart from the village and the mountains. 'Tis only recently I've come down here to the plains and the cities.
Well, I know I was from a mansion, but that's all I know.
A mansion? Oh. Well,
Yes, the father was a powerful conjurer.
I see. Well, I'm sure there's some information somewhere on your background. And you hold yourself in a noble fashion. I'm sure you'll have no trouble becoming a knight.
I'm just trying to stay alive, good sir. Just trying to stay alive.
Aren't we all, young man? Aren't we all? And he does a little twirl with his spear.
I knock it out of his hand with my glaive.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna leave it the two of you to decide how your contested rolls there go. But give us an attack roll to see if you can smack it out of his hand there. Actually, I started saying something and then I went in a completely other direction. Sometimes these things happen. You should know that. Shago does that. Right. Well, you almost have the spear out of the knight's hand, but he's a better fighter than you gave him credit for. Manages to hold on to it, even though he does have to rapidly take a couple of steps back and go into defensive posture.
Well done. You do know the pole arm.
Aye.
If you excuse me, it's time for some black bean brew.
Aye. I shall do a few more exercises and then join you. But if you have any trouble, if your weapons need a little extra maintenance, let me know. I used to be a Fletcher.
Fletcher.
Aye. Arrows, spears.
Arrows. Spears. Okay.
Once upon a time, I was a scout, and the spear and pole arms, they were my weapon back then.
Pole arm has always been mine. Then some knuckle dusters, but we won't get into that.
Aye. Yeah. I find myself using a longbow a little bit these days. But a good dagger's always a good thing to have at your side. And, well, and he touches the sword at his side. My lady favours these. And of course, and touches the war hammer on the other side. This came down to me. It's, I'm not quite used to it yet.
Very well, good sir.
And to you, a pleasure meeting you, Matter. And nice to be walking this road with you.
I'll kind of shrug my shoulders and I'll head out, get some black bean brew.
Yeah, you can see the rest are up now. Estrella and Sarah are sitting over by one of the campfires, simply due to the fact that the logs aren't necessarily around fires aren't necessarily made for 8 people to sit around them and stay warm. Eody is walking around, doing his cauldron thing, kind of muttering to himself. I assume that Marisol and Preacher are over by the other fire.
Well, I certainly feel better than yesterday. Not having to worry about the death snake certainly helps sleep.
Yeah, she's speaking to Zara. I believe Zara's doing real life things while we're playing. We're playing as well. That's how it is to have kids.
Sorry about that. Say it again.
I certainly feel better than yesterday. Not having to worry about the death snake sure helps a good sleep.
Oh, certainly. Less corpses in the area as well.
Oh, yeah. And I think it helped the mood of the villagers that we're almost at our goal.
Well, hopefully we make some good payments. We definitely could use better equipment if we keep going into these kind of situations.
Yeah, that was a bit too close for comfort. Definitely too close.
Well, most of us survived, so at least we have that going for us.
True.
Although at our current rate of losses per mission, we might need to hire more people.
Well, I know that you talked about resurrecting a friend of yours, but how long ago was it when you sailed this raid?
Well, we lost Cal on our way to the Black Abbey escorting a champion candidate. And then the first mission we took after the Black Abbey, we lost Leo. So, we're 1 for 1 right now.
Yeah, we should not increase that number.
Consider writing a will.
I don't have anyone I could give it to. It's nothing against you guys, I trust you, but the only thing I could write in a will is something I have to do myself.
That's a bit unfortunate. Hopefully you find somebody you can trust enough with your tasks.
I really don't want you to get in trouble with this. It is a lot of trouble and it could easily cost you your life.
Oh, that's not the worst thing that could happen to you.
Oh, I know, there are definitely things worse than death. For sure. Seen a few of them.
Yeah, same.
Alright, we better get up packing if we want to reach the village today.
You're not wrong. I keep everything in the wagon anyways.
Mm-hmm. Well, it seems like most of you are ready to go. If anybody has any scenes they want to play out, now's the time.
I'm just gonna walk around and make sure that people are ready to go.
Likewise.
Yeah, the people you saved are much better shape now after sleeping, getting some more food, and and getting healed. So they're obviously in a good spot to leave.
Beautiful. It should be a day's walking, and we'll be there. I can't wait to sleep in a bed again.
Sleep, bed. Not sure. I remember that, but yeah.
You know, the soft things we sleep in whenever we have the chance.
No, I know what it is, but the sensation is kind of lost on me, you know.
I understand.
Right. Well, you guys are ready to go, and the caravan gets ready to go. The loss of the dwarves is actually felt both when it comes to organizing and the lack of extra security. But you're so close to Valon now that in the first hour on the road you meet 3 other caravans of traders heading from Valon, all with well, not a lot of guards. So between the biggest you meet's a caravan of 30 wagons heading to the Ebon coast, and they have maybe 100 guards, but they all seem pretty relaxed traveling in the area right now.
Yeah, that's a good sign. And we keep a good pace and try to get there as quickly as we can.
Yeah, it's no more than a bit over half a day's travel to get to Valons. I sadly, due to my bad wrist, I haven't been able to properly set the map up. But it's a rough sketch of it. You can see a large castle, which would be fit for royalty in most other countries. Obviously old, towering over Wallon on top of a hill. Wallon itself seems to be built on a large hill next to the huge lake that stretches as far as the eye can see, really. There's a very stout wall of stone around it with several towers and turrets, and you can see at least 4 gates heading in and out of Alone. Most of them fairly well trafficked at the moment. You're coming in either by traders leaving, local farmers and hunters and that sort of thing leaving after selling their wares, or like you, caravans of merchants or travelers coming in, walking towards it. It's obvious that this is a prosperous city, younger by far than Ravensbridge, but old enough still that there's a sense of age and a sense of the ancient about especially the walls, which again are not built in the classic style of Golden Glens, but older, probably Second Empire walls.
Well, this looks promising.
Yeah, they should be able to handle this many refugees.
No problem there. That craftsmanship is good. Old.
Yeah, you especially, Preacher, get a sense that this must have been in your age, probably a small trade station or maybe just a small military encampment or a hamlet. Definitely nothing that people back in your day would have called even a town. But in the age you've woken up to, at a guess there's between maybe 8 and 10,000 people here. This is definitely a city.
It's
Well,
bigger than I thought it was going to be.
yeah, I don't think I've been to such a large city before.
Walking up, you see 6 guards dressed in chainmail, covering their arms and legs with chainmail hoods over their heads, and the tabards with the emblem of the city of Valence, the green shield with or the blue shield with a green border and a copper ship on it. Ooh, trippy. They're none of them have their weapons drawn. See, they have maces hanging in their belts, and over where there's a little table set up with well, it looks like a mug of water and some clay cups. There are shields and spears. In addition to them, there's what's obviously a sergeant dressed, or some sort of NCO or officer dressed in the same kind of chainmail, but with an added breastplate and a kettle helmet. Also with a blue cloak over their tabard. Who walks up as you go in near, looking at Magnus, of course, and like, good sir, who are you and why are you bringing your entire village to Valon? Your arrival has not been messaged to us.
My name is Sir Magnus Evaldson, and well, I'm not the one you should speak to. The young lady over there with the big long coat. She's the leader of this band, but these people are refugees, rescued from a grisly fate. I believe they're seeking refuge in your fair city, sir.
Ooh, well, thank you, Sir Knight. So, oh boy, and he looks at turns back towards one of the younger soldiers who's kind of has a glazed look on his eyes. It's probably late in the day for him, and zoning out a bit. You fetch the bailiff. The soldier starts walking. The sergeant straightens up and shouts with a booming voice, "I didn't say walk slowly and fetch her. I said fetch her now. Run!" And the guy runs as fast as he can in chainmail. The rest are kind of chuckling at him and like, "Oh, well, he was bound to learn that at some point." And the sergeant turns to you and like, "Well, I'm sorry, but I can't let this many people in to Valence this late in the day without having spoken to the bailiff first. If you'll just move to your right off the road a bit, and so we don't block any traffic, and we can get the bailiff here. I'm certain she'll square it out."
All right. I give the signal and try to herd my cats into the side.
Right. This is where I would have asked you to roll a command check back in the day. Which skill? Give us a diplomacy for that. The refugees are tired, sore. They've had a pretty traumatic couple of weeks or months in the case of some of the luckier or unluckier, however you want to look at it, people. But they get quickly off the road, and Mador and Medora and Magnus can see that Sergeant's kind of nodding approvingly at how Marisol is commanding these people to get off the road. It takes a good hour probably before a tall lady with long black hair starting to go towards gray, fine, almost androgynous features, dressed in the same type of riders or cavaliers plate that you saw the knights wearing, but this one lacquered or enameled in blue, with the sigil of the city kind of painted or stenciled or enameled straight into the breastplate. It rides up on a warhorse. It seems the horse itself seems happy to moving around without barding. The lady herself, a half elf, hard to say age, but old enough that she's starting to go towards gray, but still has a young face. Though you can see, especially around the part of the face that would not be covered covered if you had your visor up on a heavy helmet. There's a lot of scarring. Her nose leans a bit to the left after having been broken repeatedly, and you can see the left side of her mouth is pulled up into what looks like a sort of an ironic smile by some sort of nerve damage left there from well, you don't know what kind of blow it was, but it must have been with an edged weapon. She's not carrying any weapons you can see, but she's sitting in the saddle with a lot of confidence as she rides up. Following her is about 20. They're all humans and half elves. All of them older types, 50s and 60s, still fit and hale, dressed in the infantryman's preferred plate mail, and all of them are kind of casually holding on to guisarms or two-handed spears or ranseurs. A couple of poleaxes thrown in here and there, one or two halberds. They're kind of casually lounging about in the area, close enough that they could have a big impact on any fight, but far enough away to seem, or at least try to appear, non-threatening. She rides up, looks at Marisol. Hello, I'm told you are the leader of this band.
That's right. We are the Night Thorns, and we were sent from the Black Abbey to Castle Montfort to see what was going on there. And from there, we saved these people and the band of dwarfs who sent you this letter. I hand her the scroll.
She takes it, but she's not reading it yet. Please go on.
And the dwarves told us that we could bring the refugees here, and you would help us take care of them. So here we are, and as you can see, they are tired and filthy and needs help.
Well, please tell me a bit more. Montfort, you say? How? What was the state of the castle when you were there?
It was taken by ogres and hobgoblins and other filth, including hags. They are not there anymore.
Am I to understand that you've slain these beasts?
Yes, and we have proof.
At this point, I reach into one of our bags and basically jiggle about one of the hag heads and then put it back in.
Oh, she looks at it. Winter hag, huh? Powerful creature. Very unpleasant.
Indeed.
Now she opens the letter and looks like, and this letter I see is written by Doirak the dwarf. And he's well known in the city. Both him and his cousins, Grumbly and Cranky. Well, at least he corroborates your story. Of course, my men will have to talk with the commoners you're bringing here. As she says that, the 20 guards were soldiers, veterans is probably a better word. Or gotta start loitering about, having what seems to be mostly a friendly chat with the people you're bringing in. Well, this for certain will cost me a lot of paperwork, but for you, there should be monetary rewards coming in. I will have to ask you to stay in the city for the next 3 days. I'll need to speak to Contessa Vestra about this. I believe she may wish to have words with you as well. The Lords Montfort were relatives of hers. She will have questions about the state of Castle Montfort and the enemy forces you found in there.
Just show us to an inn and we'll stay there and not leave the city.
Yeah, as you say that, one of the ladies you've been escorting comes up and go to the deranged dragon. It is a relative of mine that runs it. I'll go and talk to her as soon as I can, and I'm certain she'll let you stay there for free.
Thank you. We'll go check out the deranged dragon.
Yeah. The constable looks at you and, well, it's not the finest inn in Wallon, but it is not the worst either.
And after this many days on the road and a decrepit hag-infested castle, it's probably going to be more than enough for us.
Yes, as you enter the city here, it will be, she points down, follow the main street until you pass through the second layer of walls, the middle gate. Then you go down onto the docks. To the left, there's a large trading ship known as the Golden Monkey, berthed at the docks straight across from the trading square where the ranged dragon is. It should be easy to find. She writes out a note, starts writing a note. You can see she has a little wooden square with parchment on it, obviously made. You've never seen anything like it, made for her to be able to write while she's in the saddle. You, the Knight Thorns, how many are you? I need to have the name of everybody on here so that you can have a written permission to wear armor and weapons in the city. Normally, I would not do this, but you mentioned hags. I know hags can be vindictive bitches, so in this case, I will not ask you to wear a civilian clothing while in Wallon until, well, I decide otherwise.
Very well. My name is Marisol Barlow. And these are my companions, and I nod to Magnus for him to continue.
So Magnus Evaldson recently joined this band.
Sir Magnus, She looks at Magnus and looks at one of the men-at-arms close to her, like, it's just a formality, of course, Sir Evaldson, but we'll have to look in the Book of Heraldry to see if you are registered there and have the right to call yourself a knight. If not, well, it'll be the stocks for you for the next 14 days.
Aye.
Please do not take this the wrong way, but the law must be upheld, and there have been influx of pretenders to knighthood lately.
Aye,
who,
well.
who is next?
Zara Alpendu.
Are you a relative of a Sergei Alpendu?
No.
Well, it's not a common name in Golden Glens, however. He traveled through here a fortnight ago and left on a ship 3 days ago, but left a seaman's chest of gear in his room. Should you come across him, please tell him that we will store his gear for him for another 3 weeks before it goes on auction. Very well, next.
Estrella.
Estrella, very well. Which township or village do you hail from?
One that does no longer exist.
Town burned down by orcs, bandits, marauders, dragon.
I
I'll
would say,
need to put something down.
well, Marauders, I think, is closest, or Bandits?
Orc village burned down by marauding bandits. Very well. She looks at Iodi. Oh, one of the dragonkin. How interesting. We don't see many of you come through. Who might you be, sir?
I am Iodi, the eater of sheep. Welcome.
Iodi, eater of sheep. I will assume that you pay the farmers commensurately for any sheep eaten while you're in my lands.
Do you even have sheep in these lands?
Oh, there are many sheep farms around. Outside of Wallon. We are known for our good traveling gear made from the local wool. Will keep you warm even if it gets wet. Won't let the wind through. As long as you take care of it and oil it with the sheep liniment that you can buy in the same shops as the traveling gear.
Probably very important if you did not have the soul of a dragon. Iodi will pay any dues he must do to eat the sheep around here.
And then she looks at Mador like, and you look like a veteran.
The name is Medor.
Very well.
I guess you can say I'm from Raven's Crest.
Mador of Ravenscrest. Very well. She looks around. Well, that should. Oh, she looks at Preacher. Did I get your name, sir?
I stand to attention, bang my chest in Second Legion fashion. Preacher. My hereditary village or town does no longer exist since it was in the Second Era.
Ah, Preacher of the ancient times. Very well. She looks at you and like, not many of your kind here. I do believe the Contessa has a scholar researching the resurgence of your people. Yes, the resurgence of your people. I'm certain she would be happy to have a chat with you. I'll take it up to the Contessa.
Oh, Marisol.
I am available.
Yes?
We have one more to the party. Don't forget him.
Ah, yes. We also have a druid, but he is not with us right now, but he might show up.
Ah, who would this be, please?
Edamir the Fox.
Edamir the Fox. Well, very well. Please, if you should change inns from the deranged dragon, talk to one of the city guards so they can get word to me. I will talk to the Contessa to make certain that you are amply rewarded for rescuing these fine folk. You, who are not of the Night Thorns but have been rescued by them, please follow my men at arms. We will take you to one of the local hospitals. I believe there is a hospice of Yartle in the city that has room for you at the moment. To the rest of you, well, we don't get many traveling bands of mercenaries of your obvious capability here, so please don't burn anything down. Zara.
Bailiff, should I be able to get a hold of Sergey, where should I tell him to pick up his belongings?
His belongings are currently held in the Temple of Torres in the city, which also counts as where the local constabulary have their offices and jails and warehouse.
Appreciated.
Now, this has been a pleasure meeting you, and thank you for rescuing citizens of Nosans and Valon. I must be off. There are several ships have come to the docks this day, and I believe I have a long evening and night of paperwork when the drunken brawls between sailors start breaking out.
Could we come by your office tomorrow with delivering of the heads? We would rather not carry them around much longer. We would see them burned.
You can see her doing mental calculation, and if you can come one bell after the dinner bell. I know it's late, but believe me, the streets of Valon are as safe as any other city. So even if we might not have much daylight left, you will find that it is perfectly safe to move in Valon.
So tonight then, after dinner.
Tomorrow. Tonight
Tomorrow
I will have
after dinner.
to. I will have to deal with the drunken sailors. Well, not personally, but there's a
I
lot
understand.
of organization to dealing with this, and then I will must speak to the Contessa in the morning, and then once she has had her dinner, I believe we can find time to meet.
Yes. Then we will see you late. See you tomorrow. Thank you.
Mador.
Good lady. Is there a place where I can train in the morning? It's a morning ritual I do.
Well, yes. If you come to, it is in the middle of the city. You will pass through the second curtain wall and portcullis. On the left hand side, on the side of of the docks, you will see the constabulary house and Temple of Turis. You can use our courtyard to train. I'll even let you do it for free, provided you can help my chosen veterans here train some of the younger recruits.
It would be my pleasure.
Aye, and I'll be joining him.
Ah, perfect, Sir Knights.
Would there be a temple of Carissa or Zosia in the city, Madam Bailiff?
Let's see, and she takes out a list. There's a Temple of Geb, Temple of the Merciful Sisters. Biggest temple in the city is to Aran, of course, as we might not be seafaring, but the lake is deep and cold, and the winds can be brutal. There is a temple to Yautl up in the castle itself proper, but there is a side entrance you can use to get in, where you won't be walking through the noble quarters and won't be accosted by the Contessa's guard. Of course, I just told you that Torres has a temple in my constabulary, taking up too many offices, if you ask me. Apollo, the gatekeeper, has not so much a temple as a part of the docks used where traveling priests of Apollo hold their sermons, but there are a few acolytes of Apollo that I would not. That keeps it well. There's a grove as well to Giltine, the huntress. And she points towards a thick cluster of trees, maybe 900 feet from you, down by outside of the city walls. And of course, to my great annoyance, it seems a follower of Shibalba has set up shop in the city and holds her sermons wherever she feels like it. Don't worry, the guards are trying to chase her out. But don't be too surprised if you start finding that tricks are being played on you. Your items are not so much being stolen as misplaced, or the most obvious sign would be if you're hit in the face or back of head with a pie. You can be fairly certain that this chosen priest of Chibalba is near. She says that you. She's rolling herself a smoke and lights it up with a sigh. Looks into the sky, looking almost defeated. But we'll get her out one day or another.
Aye. Well, I think I'll avail myself of the Chapel of Taras due to the association between his followers and those of my lady.
Yes, I'm afraid the closest temple to the twin ladies of Passion would be up in Cracti Chevalier. That would be roughly 2 days of sailing from here, or 5 days on horseback.
Aye, I feared so. But thank you, madam.
However, there's down in the market place, the main market stalls. You have the sea market, which is a rougher place, and then you have the main market in the shadows of the walls of the castle. In the main market, there is a small area cleared for traveling preachers and priestesses and chaplains and padres and whatever you prefer to call yourselves. If you should wish to hold a sermon to the ladies there, you will only have to drop by the constabulary and let us know beforehand. It costs 2 copper per bell you wish to speak, because I do need to set one of the rookies there as a guard in case, well, somebody wishes to have a theological fisticuff.
Aye, well, I'm an anointed champion, no much of a preacher, but thank you.
Am I glad to hear that? Well, best of luck to you all, but I must be off. I can already hear, and far in the distance, you can hear like a whistle going off. I can already hear that the sailors have started drinking.
Well, thank you, madam. I'll see you tomorrow, and I think it's time for us to start drinking as well. I take Billy by the reins and start walking towards the inn.
I help with the carts and the people, getting them going before I enter the city. And also, I stop by Estrella before the carts are left, and I quietly ask her, say goodbye to the kids, and offer her a handstand, basically, hand up and handstand acrobatics.
Well, yeah, not a bad idea.
Oh yeah, the kids are super impressed with your handstand. Laughing and happy as they follow the veterans in towards wherever they're going. You can see a lot of the veterans as well. Maybe as much as half of them have picked up smaller children and are giving them piggyback rides, or in the cases of the youngest ones, just carrying them in the crook of one arm and with the halberd just leaned over the other shoulder. The sergeant, once they've left, looks in at you and I. Constable would never say this, but the Range Dragons, it's a known drinking place for mercenaries, adventurers, sailors, and, swashbucklers, the like. It's a rough place, and it's in a rougher part of the docks, but the food is good. I recommend. They've got a good clam soup, some nice rock lobster, and a a fantastic eel pie. Don't drink their own local beer. Ask for the Golden River of Valon brand ale instead. They have had several complaints about the hygiene in the cellar where they brew their own drink.
Thank you for the information. I will help improve the safety of the place while I stay there.
And with that, he takes the drag of a flask, gives you a smile and a pat on the shoulder, and well, best of luck to you. Walks back to guarding the gate.
As we're walking, I converse with Estrella. Have you ever considered a leaping attack? I mean, you're very stealthy and very agile, but could actually be interesting to try that. Assisted leaping.
Yeah, well, I mean, there aren't always trees around for me to climb on first.
I'm more talking about assistance as Bronze, this person.
Yeah. We can certainly try. It could be a good surprise attack.
I think so. I had some success tossing a certain fox earlier, so I'm interested to see it if it works with somebody a little bit bigger.
Well, and even if you miss the target, I'm pretty proficient in falling, so I probably won't hurt myself.
I noticed that, which is why I'm thinking of it.
Yeah, sure, we can work on that. You want to do it now or rest first?
I don't really need rest, but we might want to walk through the city first instead of trying it out on the street.
Yeah, maybe you're right. We shouldn't rile up the guards like right after we arrive.
Yeah. We can discuss the theory of while we're walking anyway. So, transit.
Yes, sir. As you walk into, or it's easy enough to find. One of the parts, things that makes it easy to find is because they have a huge part of the docks outside of the entrance to the tavern, where they have tables and chairs, and there's a lot of people there, getting roilingly drunk, from what you can see. And as you can see, there are at least 3 different, not so much in uniform as just the crews of the ships are wearing different colors. You expect that the city guard will probably be here within a bell or two to drag a fair amount of them to the stocks or jail or wherever they end up once they start fighting. The building is in it's 2 floors. It's a fairly old building from what you can see, made of wood, but it's got that weather-beaten look that old wooden buildings get, and it's a bit askew as well. The floors aren't entirely even anymore. Anything you would drop on the floor would roll slightly to the left. But it's made of solid wooden boards. And to enter the common area, it's nicely lit, large, and sort of place you feel you could get comfortable. The people sitting inside obviously slightly wealthier than the sailors outside drinking 1 copper beers, but definitely not a place you could expect to find many nobles. You see the young lady who talked to Marisol is behind the bar. Kind of looks at you and points through the room as you enter, and there's a an older lady there as well, sitting and standing and serving beers while pointing imperiously with a large wooden ladle and sending servers scurrying about like some sort of culinary themed general. Behind her, there's an open kitchen. You can see a lot of younger people, probably in their, well, there's elves, humans, dwarves, probably what would be their early 20s in their different ages. Most of them have tattoos on their hands, lower arms, upper arms, chest for some, hair in various, dyed in various interesting colors. Obviously, somewhat sleep deprived, and a lot of them seem to be smoking while cooking as well. You see at least one of them just light a new hand-rolled cigarette with the ember on the old one. There's the smell of fried food, beer, and there's a nice draft with the open windows coming in from the lake, washing away the what would otherwise be an overpowering smell of many humans who have had a long workday. The one of the younger servers comes running up to you and, "Oh, you're the night ones, please. Come, sit. We have a table reserved for you."
Thank you.
And takes you up to one of the tables closer to the fire.
I sink down in the chair.
Yeah, the chairs are wood, not uncomfortable. The sort of old, well-used, solid wooden chairs that feel softer and warmer than their looks first give you the impression of. So, all in all, it's a pretty comfortable place to be.
Pritchard doesn't sit down. I walk over to the closest wall, basically, and just stand there for a moment and taking in the whole inn. And if there looks to be brawling going on, I'll try to keep it away from my table, but otherwise I will not get engaged.
Estrella is taking a chair to have the wall in her back, so she's able to look into the room.
Magnus is just looking to see if there's a chair there that can bear his weight, or he'll have to take his armor off first.
They look pretty solid, these chairs.
He'll put one against the wall and try it very carefully.
Map.
Yes. This map, for some reason, does not use line of sight, because fancy grounds and maps are weird. But the two upper rooms would be the upper floor with a actually some sort of a library on the upper floor where well, you haven't gotten there yet, but that's what you're going to see in addition to guest rooms.
I want to eat, and then I want to have a bath and change and have my clothes washed, and then I'm gonna get really stinking drunk.
Well, you'll have to excuse me. I will be back in a short order, but I do need to have myself a very quick bio break. So role play amongst yourselves. You got plenty to speak of, and I'll be back shortly.
We should probably go down to the docks as well and find that golden monkey ship. Or perhaps
Yeah.
we could wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we've earned the night off.
And I assume we are going back to the Black Abbey after this?
Yeah, we need to. They if we're gonna do the ritual for Cal.
Hmm.
We also have some rewards to claim there.
We do.
And we have a... Actually, that was interesting. We need to go fetch that monk fellow. That was actually part of the caravan here, because he needs to go back there.
Yeah, I'm sure he will be sorted out and find us, or if he doesn't, we'll find him.
Yeah. Otherwise, the quartermaster will not be as pleased. I assume that we lost him on the way.
If
Yeah,
and
if
he's
you
in,
drop them.
if and he's in with the refugees, I dare say the bailiff will know where he is.
That is true.
Exactly. And he is also an adventurer, so he'll probably just find us once he's well enough.
And since Magnus actually wanted to go in that direction and detoured on our behalf, we get to enjoy his company a little bit more.
And he also knows that we were sent by the Black Abbey to find him, so
Yeah, I'm sure we'll meet him soon enough. Him and all the others, all the mercenaries we met.
So, what are you planning to do here the next 3 days?
Well, I'll make sure we get the rewards for the hags and talk to the dwarven captain. I'm also gonna get really, really stinking drunk tonight, so don't expect me before second bell tomorrow.
Yeah, we do have a fair bit of claims to do other than the hags. The ogres are fetching a pretty penny too, I think.
They are.
And wasn't there an actual bounty you got a job for?
That too, I think.
Yeah, and the spear that we picked up was also
Yep.
has a bounty on it too.
And I dare say the 20 odd grilled orcs might fetch a price as well.
Here's
I'm-
hoping, because if anything, Castle Montfort told us we need better armor.
That is true. Elemental protection would be nice.
Oh. I don't know how I could improve my armor better without getting slower. I feel quite comfortable in this.
You can get magical runes imbued into it to make it protect you better without being heavier armor.
That could be one idea. But I think I will also use the money to get some information. Seems like a good place to, well, prick around a bit.
Hmm.
I gotta see if they have archives around here. I need to find more about my past.
They should. The place is old.
And there are sailors everywhere, and which means there's gonna be gossip and information to be had.
Mador, by the way, if you wish it, we could have we could ask that question regarding archives to the scholar that I'm supposed to meet at some point.
We could ask.
Seems to me that the archives should be somewhere around the main library. Did no the bailiff say something about a library in with the headquarters?
I think she did.
Aye, maybe start with asking her then.
I think she's gonna have her hands full at least until tomorrow night when Marisol can talk to her.
But please come with me when we talk. Then we could ask her that as well.
Shogi, does it look to be somebody in charge of the bar crew, the restaurant, the the place, so to speak.
Oh yeah, the lady obviously is in behind the bar. Is obviously in charge of what's going on here.
I walk over there and bow slightly and say, if there are any ruckus that you need assistance with, please feel free to call.
Oh, Master, excuse me. What's your name, sir?
Preacher, I am a monk. I am not going to be drinking tonight, so I am able to assist if you need any less violent solutions to problems.
Oh, perfect. Sometimes there's a lot of problems with the sailors, especially when they drink. You know, they have some trouble often keeping their how do you say? They have some trouble keeping their britches on around the servers.
Absolutely. Just give me an indication that you wish me to intervene. I would never ask and do that without permission, since if the town sheriffs start asking questions, I would prefer it be with your request.
Of course, it would be. I will tell you. The signal will be, preacher. Could you go beat that man up?
Absolutely.
They'll never see it coming.
Very good. I'll go back to my corner again and going like, yeah, I could see that coming.
Right. So you're served this evening a hearty fish soup. Made of white sauce with the fish in kind of ground into a fish paste and then rolled into balls and boiled in the white sauce, along with potatoes again with fresh dill on them and some boiled carrots and bread. What are you guys drinking?
I'm
Zara's going
drinking
to
the
order a
recommended
wine.
ale.
Very well.
I don't like beer, so I prefer ale.
I'll ask for their best beer.
Oh, the best beer. That's our local brew. Yeah, the Range Dragon Special.
Yeah, sure.
And you're served a house beer.
I'll take some tea.
Strong tea for the lady. Do you want rum in it, ma'am?
Not such a bad idea. Yeah, I think 1 cup with rum wouldn't hurt.
There we are. We'll make it happen, ma'am.
I wasn't
Richard-
there when they were told about the beer, so I'm just buying whatever they say is best.
Preacher doesn't drink, so no.
Well. Dum. Okay, excuse me. I'll be with you. My brain will be on in a moment. There we are. So it's an evil. It's an easy, chill evening for you. Finally, not being responsible for the health and safety of a large group of refugees. As the night goes towards an end, the elderly lady that's been behind the bar, preacher has broken up a lot of fights just by his sheer presence. Comes up to you and like, perfect. Would you wish to stay the night here? I will have mattresses and beds set up in the adjoining room, and I can have a bath pulled for you as well.
That will be appreciated.
Yes, please.
That sounds lovely.
That'd be very nice. A bit sweaty under the armor.
Well, pretty much everybody is after this evening. It's been a hectic evening for especially outside. Up until the constable stationed a squad of veterans outside. They've mostly dealt with anything popping up after midnight with just the butts of their halberds and spears. The adjoining room obviously isn't necessarily meant to be a place for people to stay, but the room inside of that, with 3 beds and a bath, is actually fairly luxurious. There's even a little logbook there for visiting people. You can see a lot of ship captains rent out this particular room from the greetings and rude pictures drawn in it. Some of them anatomically impossible.
Could you have my clothes washed?
Of course, milady.
Ah, just call me Marisol. It's I'm no lady.
She looks at Marisol. Do you have a second set of clothing, or would you like me to send one of the servers out to get you a linen dress or something similar?
A simple linen dress would be nice. I didn't pack too much clothing, and I've been wearing most of it because of the weather.
Perfect. Okay, I'll make that happen, ma'am.
Thank you.
Well,
Doesn't take
I
more
would.
than 20 minutes until there's a simple linen dress with just a little bit of embroidery on the shoulders and upper arms to make it look nice. Comes in. She smiles at Marisol in almost in a grandmotherly fashion. Like, it's the least I could do for you rescuing my granddaughter from those terrible creatures.
Thank you. I'm just gonna strip off everything I'm wearing and jump into the bath.
Well, if it's not too much of a bother, I would like to have some spare clothes as well. I will return it, of course, but I think I would need some needle and thread to mend my own clothes. They're
Oh,
a bit
think not
battered
of
up.
it. Think nothing of it. I took the liberty of getting a dress for you as well. And it's the same type as Marisol. Also embroidered about the shoulders and chest, but upper arms, except where Marisol's is green and red. The one gotten for Estrella has a nice orange and purple.
Thank you very much.
Is there anything I can do for the rest of you before you retire to the bath and your beds?
Hi, could I get my undertunic, the padding for my armor washed? And
Anything you need washed, just tell me, and I'll make certain to see it happen, my friends. You rescued my granddaughter. Everything I can do, I will do for you.
that'd be grand. I would also need some extra clothes. I'm afraid my own are a little worse for wear.
Of course, it would be please, but for a knight of your stature, I'm afraid you're going to have to send some money with the servant I sent to buy it for you. I can't. I'm afraid. I don't have the sort of money needed for a man of your stature and social standing.
Oh, I wouldn't ask. A simple open shirt and a pair of breeches will do me.
Well, it would be wrong of me to send you with that sort of of lacking money, and I can't for a man of your importance and stature get you just a simple linen. But I'll do my best, sir. I'll do my best.
Thank you. Would 5 gold be enough?
Oh, absolutely, sir. I can find you clothes worthy of a knight errant for 5 gold. Yes, should not be a problem for me.
Magnus reaches into his pouch and goes, "There you go, lass. As I said, a simple shirt and breeches will do me. I know of noble birth."
Well, noble birth or not, you're a knight errant, sir. And it would not behoove me to give you anything less than the finest of gear. But I'll make that happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, lass. There's a great hospitality.
While this conversation has been ongoing, Preacher looks down on his own clothes, which is basically unwashed ever since we had the fight with, I don't know, from the Black Abbey onwards. Probably filthy as all hell. So he just takes it all off and takes away the equipment belt, puts it to one side, and stands there holding the clothes without a single thing on his body otherwise. If you can, please wash these as well.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely, we will wash and mend it. Worry not. It would be an honor.
I don't need any other clothing, meanwhile.
Estrella seems hesitant to take off her clothes while the others are present.
I'm already naked and in the bath.
Yeah, she's glancing to you, Magnus.
And Magnus catches the look and just, very well, lassie, and turns his back and starts taking his armor off.
Yeah, you're served. You're served good, good food, good drink. You have yourself a proper bath.
Marisol, would you mind if we went in together instead of after each other? The water will be warmer if we don't let it cool down too much. Thank you.
There's more than room enough. Where I'm from, there's nothing. No one has private baths. We're all just bathing together.
Well, it's not like I didn't bath with others before. On her right wrist, you can see a little tattoo where you're not sure you have seen before.
Yeah, there's so much magic in this world that I'm not really paying it any attention.
She also has a tattoo on her left shoulder, but she's sitting in a way that she tries to turn it to the wall.
Marisol only have a scar over her heart, and that's it. And is washing contently.
Oh, the bath is warm. It's nice. There's it's a good soap they have here. Not the sort that feels like it's tearing your skin off, like you've met in or found in most villages, smaller villages. But your skin actually feels softer and smoother. And there's a slight floral hint to the soap as well. Hint of lavender.
Nice. I'm gonna have to ask to bring a bar of this. I haven't had good soap in ages. You need any?
Yes, please. It does smell nice. Is this a flower?
Yeah, it's the purple ones, those that they make a big field and they just smell delicious, and you can make tea of them and everything.
Can't remember I've ever seen such a field.
I'm sure we'll see some once spring and summer comes. I'll show you.
Well, thank you.
Marisol starts yawning.
Well, I guess it's time for some sleep, huh?
Yeah, and I think I'll just save getting really stupidly drunk till tomorrow. I think I need sleep.
Well, we only have 3 beds, it seems. We will have to cuddle up.
Now, we've shared this sleeping bag before, haven't we?
You're right.
Okay, so while Marisol and Estrella are bathing and getting comfortable in bed, what are the rest of you guys doing?
I've gone into my backpack and pull out my common clothes I carry.
Hmm.
And as I strip off the armor and the under armor and put on these.
Yeah, I assume you've retired to your private room with everybody who's undressed and sent off their clothing, except maybe Sara and Iodi. I don't know.
I didn't know we have a private room.
Oh yeah, you have the 2 rooms your characters are in right now, or the parts, the wing of the inn that the old lady has given you for saving her grandchild. So if anybody has any scenes they want to play out, now's the time. If not, we will switch over to next day.
I don't have any reason to strip my clothes or anything, so Yoda's just doing his normal nighttime rituals. Because I just press to digitate my shit clean every single day. The
He was
Tasha move.
constantly clean.
That's the Tasha special right there.
Before morning, I'll be getting up and heading out to practice.
Yeah. Why even learn magic if you're not constantly clean and dry? I mean, that'd be the first thing I learned if I ever became a wizard.
Same.
Right. So Medor gets up to go train. Give us another perception roll, sir. No. Actually, Medor and Magnus, we're going to go train in the morning. So one from Magnus as well. Is Preacher also going?
During the night, as I always have like 2 hours to sleep, I'll stand watch the rest of the night.
Okay. So give me a perception roll for that.
Ooh.
Right. Well, you're fairly certain ain't nothing going on. As Medor and Magnus walk towards the constabulary, it's about a 10-minute walk from the inn. Not too long. Magnus notices just in the corner of his eye that it's probably the 5th or 6th time you've seen like a tuft of somebody red-haired kind of disappearing out of your view the moment you look over to that way. You haven't noticed it until now, but thinking about it, that was going on last night as well.
Did you say something red? Could have sworn.
I don't think I saw anything.
I could have sworn I seen something red hair, something, just vanishing. As soon as I look towards it, it's very strange.
You walk the last couple of blocks towards the training field, and can't see anything else. You don't notice any more people or any more red hair. If you enter the training area, there's actually a fair amount of guards. For a city this size, it must be prosperous to be able to afford having the sort of security it has, because you can swear there's at least a company of people here training for the morning shift. Knowing that Golden Lens really doesn't have standing armies; they have knights who just levy troops when they need to. It's uncommon to see anything other than a fairly prosperous noble have this many men and women under arms. While they may have seen lax at the gate when you arrived, these people look like they know how to use their maces and spears. Give me a lore warfare for if either of you have that.
Not me.
Not me.
Nope, none of you do. However, you're both fighty classes, so to speak, and quite experienced at level 6 now. Takes a little while for you to notice, but these people are training mostly to injure. They're not fighting to kill, more than maybe 1 out of 5 times. Other than that, they're trying just to injure. And while most of them are obviously impressed by the skills that the two of you have, you can see that you can see a handful of the veterans that were 5 or 6 of them that were with the constable last night. And while they nod approvingly at your skills, when you can see them watching, they're not outdone. These they may be older men and women, but they have definitely seen a battlefield before, even pulling out some tricks that the two of you struggle to copy. But you have a solid morning of training. The younger recruits especially learn a lot from you. As the training session winds down and you're washing yourselves down with buckets of water carried from a well in the middle of the training field by the youngest recruits, one of the elderly veterans comes up to you when he's in just with his in his breeches and boots right now, also having washed down. You can see this amount of scarring on his upper body is downright impressive. There's not a lot of places where he hasn't been clawed, bitten, slashed, smashed, or pierced at some point. Comes up to you and holds out his hand. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure fighting with and working two men of your caliber in the training yard. Too often, I think we deputies think that we have learned what's worth learning. But watching you today, I've seen several moves that either variations of things I already knew or entirely with new ways of thinking. So, please allow me to introduce myself. I'm Marc Bassot, senior deputy of Constable Brugoyer.
I was watching your routine. It seems like you train a lot of your guardsmen to wound, not kill.
That's entirely correct, sir. It's not a choice I agree with. I'll be entirely frank, but the constable, well, she gets her budget from the Contessa to keep these men and women under arms, and the Contessa is a very big believer in that. If somebody's found innocent in the court and you kill them while apprehending them, it's going to be very, very difficult to say you're sorry and let them go. This is why we're, the city guards are armed mostly with maces, so that they can. A broken leg or a broken shoulder or arm, you can heal with magic. It costs a bit, but well, if they're found innocent, it's the least the city can do. But
versus a glaive through the heart or something. Understandable.
yeah, a glaive through the heart, very, very, very costly, if at all possible. I know there are some of the priests in the different temples around here. They are powerful enough to resurrect someone, but the gods are, well, they're finicky with this whole thing. I believe that the Sisters of Mercy, Kwan and Anku, they're not too keen on everybody and their uncle being brought back to life after having died and walked through their gates.
Aye, I can see that one. The Sisters of Mercy would no be in favour of too many escaping the gatekeeper.
Indeed. Well, it would be a pleasure to have you train with us in the mornings as long as you stay. There is also an evening session between the 9th and 10th bell for those who are of a more advanced level of skill who wish to train in darkness. We found it's for those city guards who have the talent and dedication to reach that level of skill. It's been useful to train them in fighting while blind or debilitated in some other way.
I'm sure I can come and train with them. Darkness is my friend.
Aye,
Yes.
well, I can no see in the dark, but it sounds like a fine skill to learn.
Well, especially Mador here, I think would be a perfect candidate to help the young ones learn how to fight somebody you can see in the dark when you can't.
I'll be
Yeah,
happy to teach them.
and well, I've met the two of you twice now, and you both seem like fine men, especially you for somebody as young as you. He says to Mador. It's impressive the level of skill you already have. You must have a lot of natural talent and ability, and have backed that up with quite the amount of dedication to be as good with a weapon as you are at your age.
I was started young by a fellow, I should say, former adventurer at the orphanage. They did not like the way they were treating me, so he taught me how to fight.
Ah, yes. I hope you got your own back on whoever gave you those scars on your back.
Yeah, we won't go there. I'm sure this Mother Superior is not aware of how the sisters treated the non-humans in that orphanage.
Oof. Well, at least be confident that in Valor, the Contessa would never allow anything like that to happen at any of the orphanages or hospices.
Aye, 'tis a comfort. 'Tis a bad thing to mistreat a child, no matter what the race it is.
True. There, I will say, even with the inspections we do, there's always somebody who tries to turn a profit on the children without parents. But the last one who tried to do that in Valon, we found her hanging naked as day, upside down, from one of the roofs of the orphanage. Bruised and beaten, and face covered in pie.
Magnus flexes his considerable shoulders, which are covered in a big, swirling mass of tattoos and a few scars here and there, and says, Aye, it sounds like poetic justice to me.
Well, she'll have a long, long time to live down the humiliation as the Baroness sentenced her to staying in jail until, well, the Contessa says otherwise. Please let me not confuse you. There's a Baroness in this city as well as the Contessa. The Baroness is in charge of the... Not in charge, she serves the Contessa, and I believe it's her younger daughter, but she's responsible for the martial side of Valon. Valon is not a large city, but it is very important for travel and trade, which is why the Contessa has the funds to keep not just 2 companies of city guard, but her own household knights as well. I believe there's close to 30 of them, with the requisite men at arms and scouts and blacksmiths and squires, and you know the whole deal. It takes a lot to keep a knight going. I believe there is about 12 people supporting every knight in total, from their personal squire to the men at arms, tailors, armorers, the whole thing. Not a luxury we have here. So I'm gonna have to go all my weapons and take care of my armor. So thank you for the training.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Aye. We'll be back. I much prefer to look after my armor and weapons myself.
Right. Back at the inn, Eodi and Zara and the preacher are up in the... I'll just move the ones not present out of the room so we know who's gone. Are up eating breakfast. The last you saw of Estrella and Marisol was when you exited the room and light came in. You heard more or less a double groan, as if they'd practiced and perfected it before both of them just pulled their head under the covers and rolled away again, synchronously. But breakfast seems to be fresh caught mackerel, seared again with potatoes, with dill on them, and some sort of smaller fish about the length of a finger in oil on rye bread, with a watered down beer or wine for whoever wants that.
Well, Eodi is enjoying these fish heads and munching happily, and he's trying to plan out where he can find something to read, some spells and stuff in the future, as we know we're going to be here for a few days.
Mm-hmm. How about Zara and Preacher?
Well, I just contemplate the fact that yeah, it's tasty food, but I wish I could eat it, but no. So I still watching the others eat and think about the day myself, especially where I can find this Emily Flatbreaker, supposedly down in the docks. We're in the right area, roughly. So yeah.
And Zara, what's she doing?
Zara plans on going to the local miners guild and seeing if she can get some more information on that contract she was hunting
Very well.
and stop through the markets.
Well, as you're sitting there eating, the old grandmother who's running the inn comes in and like, the three of you. Is there anything else you need? Please, you saved my granddaughter. I will stretch my hospitality as far as my coffers allow, and if there's any information or small favors or anything like that you want, I will of course do my best to help you.
Two things. Do you have any rough soap for scrubbing metals and stuff, and also some kind of oil or fat to grease hinges with?
Yes, I have all of these things. I hope I'm not impolite. Is this for yourself?
Yes.
Well, it would be an honor if you allowed me to bring you over to the things you ask for. It's not to be impolite, but most of this is in the kitchen, and I believe, well, I pay the kitchen staff enough that they will happily clean you, she says, smacking her wooden ladle into her hand, whether they know it or not.
I guess that would be yes. I kind of walk after her with kind of like, what am I agreeing to exactly?
Yeah, she takes Preacher over to the kitchen, and I'll be right back, ma'am, says to Sarah. Takes him over to the kitchen. There's a couple of line chefs or line cooks, I guess they're called, there, and under a head chef, and she looks at the halfling and like, I know you trained under Chef O'Neill, but you will make certain that this man, he seems to be made of. She kind of knocks on Creature. Think the same, or at least something resembling our best pottery. So you and the cooks will clean him, oil him, and give him anything he wants, or you will wish that Chef O'Neill was here to rescue you. He smacks that ladle again. You can see the halfling kind of straighten his back a bit, and he's trying to smooth out his chef's whites, but they can't get much smoother. Like, yes, ma'am. And she pours two drafts of a light green liquid into some pretty fine glasses, and carries them back to Zara and Iodi. Puts one down in front of each, and like, please, complimentary on the house. One draught of dragon sweat. One of the finest liqueurs you can get in Goldinglands. Is there anything I can do for the two of you?
I heard someone who might be of relation to me came through the town recently. Have you heard of a Sergoy Alpendu?
Well, I heard there was a man, a sailor. I believe he was a midshipman in one of the trading galleys. His description fit you, and I mean no. Do not mean to be rude, but you stand out in a crowd. I know that he went to the Salty Antler and lived there. It's a more expensive, upscale tavern close to the main trading quarter. Not many sailors, not even midshipmen, can afford being there. Seems he left his seaman's chest there as well when he left very abruptly. Rumor has it that he wasn't on the ship when it left either. Where this individual went, I don't know. Nobody's lodged any requests with the constabulary to find him. I don't think he has any family or loved ones in Wallon. And to be honest, the captain on the ship he sailed with, he's a bit of a bastard. So I don't think he takes care of his people to the point where, well, he actually looks for his people if they disappear. It's a sad thing to see a captain not take care of his crew, but some of these captains, they inherit the ships, and then they don't take care of them.
Well, they mess around too much, they'll find out what mutiny is.
Let's just say between you and me, the lake is cold and it's deep, and the winds can be rough, but more captains fall overboard every year than what seems natural, if you understand what I mean. I would not be surprised if some of them are wrapped in chain when they fall overboard.
What a terrible accident.
Well, and I'm just curious if you were to look for a husband, what traits would you require or wish in him?
I have no desires for a husband.
Well, you say that now. But, I mean, you rescued my granddaughter. I thought the least I could do for the three of you was to help you find a husband. I had planned on asking the other two, but I gather that won't be necessary. I won't judge their lifestyle. I'm just glad they found love. But maybe in your case, I could help you find a husband.
Zara pulls her sleeve up, which is just covered and her arm's just covered in scars, and says, I'm not interested.
Very well. A girlfriend, maybe? I'll leave it be. Please enjoy your.
Maybe someone with nice horns?
Ooh, a clean young lady with nice horns. We'll see what we can make happen. And Master Ode, was it?
I rolled an Arcana because I want to know what's in the cup. Is it just straight booze?
It's seems to be a very nice booze. But a strange kind of smell of watermelon.
Yodi kind of like swishes it around and looks at it, and he goes, and then just sets it down without drinking it. I thought for once we were going to have some fun.
Oh, my apologies, sir. Is there something amiss with the drink? I don't know your species too well. Would you like me to add, I don't know, a little treasure chest to the bottom of it, or maybe a cookie shaped as a young maiden?
Yodi's species? What are we talking about now?
Well, you're a dragon, aren't you? I don't. Let's say I don't have too many patrons of the dragonly variety.
Ah, yes. It is a thing that I am used to at this point. Do not worry. Yodi will be fine. He does his own thing.
Very well, good sir. Should you need any spices for your stew, please feel free to talk to the kitchen. I will be available at the bar if you should need me. And she walks out. And yeah, I think that is a pretty good place to end today's session before we start off on downtime and that sort of thing. So we will let Master Tolmar, our esteemed streamer, labeled as EOD on screen, find somebody to raid. Thank you everybody for joining. Take care, stay safe, stay healthy, and be well, and we will see you next Sunday.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Good
Toodles.
night.
Bye, friends.
I have two more new friends that you will possibly be meeting tonight, possibly not. Uh, they are very good at their jobs,